What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved stars walks onto a talk show stage expecting a friendly conversation, only to face an ambush of disrespect and condescension that forces him to make a stand? In just 34 seconds of one cutting remark, a host's smug superiority would trigger an explosion that ended the interview in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. Jamie Foxx arrived at the studio that evening with nothing but good intentions. He'd been making the rounds promoting his latest project, charming audiences on every stop, spreading positivity and laughter wherever he went. The talk show appearance was supposed to be another easy conversation, another chance to connect with fans and share some stories. But Bill Maher had other plans. From the moment Jamie walked out to polite applause, something felt different. The energy in the room was strange, almost tense. Bill greeted him with a handshake that seemed forced, a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. They sat down, and the cameras started rolling. "So, Jamie," Bill began, leaning back in his chair with an air of superiority that immediately set an uncomfortable tone. "You've been everywhere lately. Every show, every podcast, every platform. Must be exhausting trying to stay relevant." Jamie laughed it off, ever the professional. "You know, I just love what I do, man. I love connecting with people, sharing stories. It's a blessing to still be working after all these years." "A blessing," Bill repeated, his voice dripping with mockery. "That's one way to put it. Some might call it desperate." The audience went quiet. You could feel the shift in the room, the collective intake of breath as people realized this wasn't going to be a normal interview. Jamie's smile faltered for just a second, but he recovered quickly. "Desperate? Nah, I wouldn't say that. I'm just grateful for the opportunities, you know?" Bill wasn't letting up. He leaned forward now, his eyes narrowing. "Come on, Jamie. Let's be real here. You're not exactly the powerhouse you used to be. The Oscar was what? Years ago? Since then, it's been mostly forgettable roles and straight to streaming movies. Don't you ever wonder if your time has passed?" Jamie's jaw tightened. The crew behind the cameras exchanged uncomfortable glances. This was supposed to be a light, fun interview. Nobody expected Bill to come out swinging like this. "My time hasn't passed," Jamie said, his voice calm but with an edge to it now. "I'm still working. Still creating, still doing what I love. I don't measure my worth by your standards." "My standards?" Bill laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the studio. "I'm talking about industry standards, box office numbers, critical acclaim. You used to have those things. Now you're just another celebrity trying to hang on." The audience was completely silent now. Some people looked shocked, others looked angry on Jamie's behalf. This wasn't entertainment anymore. This was an attack. Jamie took a deep breath, clearly trying to maintain his composure. "Bill, I came here tonight to have a conversation. Maybe make people laugh. Talk about my work. I don't know why you're coming at me like this." "I'm coming at you with honesty," Bill shot back. "Something you probably don't get much of anymore. Surrounded by yes men and people who are afraid to tell you the truth. You're coasting, Jamie. You're living off past glory." "Past glory?" Jamie's voice rose slightly. "Man, I've been working nonstop. I've been putting in the work, doing my thing. Just because you don't see it or value it doesn't mean it's not happening." Bill waved his hand dismissively. "Oh, please. You're doing talk shows and podcasts because that's all you have left. The serious work, the important work, that's dried up. And instead of accepting it with some dignity, you're out here clinging to fame like it's a life raft." That was when Jamie's expression changed. The friendliness was gone, replaced by something harder, more serious. He sat up straighter in his chair. "You don't know anything about my life or my work," Jamie said, his voice low and controlled. "You sit here in your studio, behind your desk, talking down to people, thinking you're some kind of authority on everyone's career. But you're not." Bill smirked. I'm just calling it like I see it." "No," Jamie interrupted. "You're being disrespectful. There's a difference between honesty and just being cruel for the sake of it. And right now, you're crossing a line." The audience murmured in agreement. People were nodding, some even clapping softly. Bill's smirk faded slightly, but he pressed on. "Crossing a line? This is my show, Jamie. I ask the questions I want to ask. If you can't handle some real talk, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews." "Real talk?" Jamie leaned forward now, matching Bill's energy. "Real talk would be having an actual conversation. What you're doing is trying to tear me down for your own entertainment. That's not journalism. That's not even good television. That's just sad." Bill's face reddened. He wasn't used to guests pushing back like this. Most people who came on his show either agreed with him or stayed quiet when he went on his rants. But Jamie wasn't backing down. "Don't lecture me about good television," Bill snapped. "I've been doing this for decades. I've interviewed presidents, world leaders, the biggest names in entertainment, and I've always told the truth, even when people didn't want to hear it." "The truth?" Jamie shook his head. "Man, you're not telling the truth. You're giving your opinion and acting like it's fact. There's a difference. And your opinion about me and my career? I don't care about it. I really don't." The audience erupted in applause. Bill looked genuinely surprised, then angry. He wasn't in control of this conversation anymore, and he knew it. "You don't care." Bill's voice was sharp now. "Then why are you here? Why did you agree to come on my show if you don't care what I think?" "I came here because I was told this would be a conversation," Jamie explained. "I was told we'd talk about my work, maybe have some laughs, connect with the audience. Nobody told me I was walking into an ambush. Nobody told me you were going to spend the whole time trying to make me feel small." "I'm not trying to make you feel small," Bill protested. "I'm trying to have a real conversation. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's your problem." "It doesn't make me uncomfortable," Jamie said firmly. "It makes me disappointed. I'm disappointed that someone with your platform, with your reach, chooses to use it like this. To put people down, to mock them, to make them feel less than. That's not what good interviewers do. That's what bullies do." The word hung in the air. Bully. Several audience members gasped. Bill's face went from red to almost purple. "How dare you?" Bill sputtered. "I'm not a bully. I'm a truth teller. If you can't handle that, that's not my fault." "Truth teller," Jamie repeated, his tone making it clear what he thought of that claim. "You keep saying that, but all I've heard tonight is you putting me down, questioning my worth, dismissing my work. That's not truth. That's just mean-spirited nonsense." Bill stood up suddenly, his chair rolling backward. "You know what? If you're so offended by my questions, maybe you should leave." The audience gasped again. This was unprecedented. Hosts didn't kick guests off their shows, especially not guests as beloved as Jamie Foxx. But Bill was too angry now to think clearly. Jamie stayed seated, looking up at Bill with a calm expression that only seemed to make the host angrier. "Is that what you want?" Jamie asked quietly. "You want me to leave?" "If you're going to sit there and insult me on my own show, then yes," Bill said. "I want you to leave." Jamie nodded slowly, then stood up. He was taller than Bill, and as he rose to his full height, it was clear who had the real power in this moment. The audience was completely on his side, watching with rapt attention. "You know what, Bill?" Jamie said, his voice carrying clearly through the studio. "I'll leave. Not because you're